I wanted to listen to this.
You'll see what they say. They say Israel is the only place where we're respected and protected.
And I can attest to that as a Christian who went to Israel. I spent 2 weeks there with the church, and we had an incredible time. We had only one incident where a small child spit on one of the pastors, and immediately after there was an adult that came by and said, "That's not a representation of who we are." Some of the news outlets are just pitching lies every day. The emaciated children with no rebuttal. They're lying about a genocide. They're showing all these videos that. This is why I wanted to do this interview and get it out there, because I have not seen a legitimate video of some of the starvation claims. Not one of the bombs and any of those things. So how does Israel help themselves or help you guys with PR to get the truth out instead of a bunch of lies?
Well, listen, we've been fighting a seven-front war against Iran, a murderous regime that calls for our destruction, with all these proxies who call for our destruction, who massacred our men, beheaded our people, raped our women, and then murdered them. Horrible. Burnt babies alive and took hundreds of hostages, innocent people, grandmothers, grandchildren, Holocaust survivors. And one of the things that I've been very active in is to get our hostages out. We got 207 out of 255. We intend to get them all out. But yeah, they lie all the time. So how do you combat the tsunami of lies? That's the eighth front. There's a seven-front war against Iran, Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah, and so on, and we're winning that war. But the war of information, you're quite right to point out, that's a tougher battle. It's a tougher battle because there are now these, the propensity to accept the Hamas lies, its statistics, its fake pictures, its the whole fake scenarios. That's maybe built into most of the Western press, not all of it, but most of it. But there's another thing. There's the abuse of the social media. You've got TikTok, you've got other social media that have algorithms in there, and you have paid bots that push responses that make people feel, oh, well, everybody's against Israel. And so you put in this massive effort, by the way, much advanced by countries that are not friendly to Israel. It's Qatar, China, and others. They have these social influence campaigns that besmirch Israel. I'm sorry to say, it's the truth. And they appeal to the American public in particular. And you'd have someone saying, listen, I'm responding to one of these assertions, okay? And he's saying, I'm a resident of Texas. I'm a longtime supporter of Israel. But what I see now, I can't take this, all the horrible stuff that they're doing. And this comes in bushels, And it turns out this Texan is some guy in a basement in Pakistan, and that's a campaign that brainwashes people. And I think that's a reality that we face. You ask me what's the fastest way to end this propaganda? It's to end the war as quickly as possible. And that's what I'm trying to do. We've dismantled most of the terror axis. We still have, two strongholds of Hamas in Gaza. I think the future of Gaza, the future of the Gazans who are now fighting Hamas, because they see that we've changed the situation there. There are Gazans who are fighting Hamas, and they say, don't listen to the media. Finish the war. We want to have a free Gaza, a Gaza free from Hamas, free from their tyranny, free from the horrible terror that they impose not only on us, on the civilian Israelis, but also on us, Gazans, who disagree with Hamas. So that's happening more and more. And yes, I think we have to win this. First of all, win the war on the ground. Then you have a shot at winning the information war. But it's a long struggle. I don't want to in any way minimize it. But eventually, truth has a tougher job than lies. Lies circle the earth 100 times before a glimmer of truth can emerge. But ultimately, it does. And I believe in this. We have truth on our side, and our compass is courage. And we have both. And we'll fight, and we'll win on that front too.
According to Officer Tatum and Bibi, they feel that anyone who is against Israel on social media or criticizing Israel and posting that Israel is committing crimes in Gaza is lying. There's one thing I've always said and I'm continue to say. There's a habit I've seen, and the trend and the pattern is clear, like you can never even guess. Anytime you are dealing with Zionist, there's one thing they think and they push: you are lying. You see, like when you say people on social media are lying and just criticizing Israel for nothing, there's no G crimes there. It tells me one thing, that you feel you have a monopoly of what is being right. You have a monopoly of telling the truth. But the fact is, every instance we have seen is constant lying. We had the 15 aid workers killed. We had bombing on a hospital, and not even once, double tap. Yes, it was a mistake. You see, when we allow a certain group to always make certain mistake where they repeat, they bomb twice at the same time, where they bury 15 aid workers and vehicles, and you say it was a mistake. My question is, now can we generalize anything that has happened in this world? It's also a mistake. Because we cannot give one group all the rights to make mistake, but the other group we don't give them a chance to make mistakes. And this is a problem where people feel like they have a monopoly of telling the truth. They have a monopoly of making mistakes and correcting them, but others cannot. This is terrible and very terrible, and I don't understand the mindset of certain people and where this comes from. Because I question even the history that I have been fed since I was a kid. Because now, if this is what has happened today, what do you think has been happening? You complain that everyone who criticizes you is telling lies. You think that you are always right. You know, this is a classic narcissism, where you always think that I'm always the right person. Anyone who is against me is telling lies or is a criminal. And this is very dangerous from a leader of a country. However, we understand that this is a concept. For you to be a Zionist, you must live in a cocoon of lies, in a cocoon of gaslighting people, which is very dangerous, because the moment you try to push this kind of narrative, you're not preaching peace. Peace should be when you agree, yes, there's a mistake, and we did a mistake, and we will punish so and so. But you cannot say that you don't even... And the funny thing is, the start of this interview, what happened is they did push the narrative that they don't attack Christians. And Officer Tatum says that only one Christian was beaten. But you know how many videos we have seen. If you go on social media, you can look for, even on YouTube, just go and look for Food for Christ. You see what they have gone through when trying to preach the gospel there in Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and other cities, and even Tel Aviv. You see, it's a trend. It's not that it's only one. You know, when you are there for PR, they might guide you where they know that at least there's no big problem, because they don't want you to see the real picture of the community that you are going. And it's a problem. I don't understand this. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Let's mix it in the next video.